No one talks about the massive.
Video in progress. 4 minutes. Pause.
Hello. I feel kind of energized today. How about you? I'm hanging out, so I'll just wait for you. Hope you had a great day. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. As my nose is running here. Welcome. Um, not feeling as well, feeling good today. Not too bad. It's been, hold on, my phone. Hold on. Everything's dying on me all at once. There we go. I was going through a lot of stuff today. I had a nap. I fell asleep this afternoon. Was supposed to go to my daughter's to pick up my Christmas stuff, and didn't end up happening. So hopefully tomorrow I want to go and get that done. I don't know. This afternoon I just sort of crashed. There's the cat. The dog's around here somewhere. No, leave the cat alone. I was going through some old memories. It was kind of interesting to go through them and see all the kinds of things. And, watching my memories. And one of the things, at this time, no, you're going to get yourself very hurt. The dog and the cat. Going through a lot of the memories and looking at things that I've done in the past, and especially when it has pertaining to my business, and how moving forward, it's like just a lot of change and a lot of feeling within inside of me on my direction. There's the dog. So if nobody's known about my dog, there's Roxy the dog. Looking at the new directions that are taking place. And I put up a little notification today, and not a notification, but I put something up on my Facebook page, and it says it's okay to wear old clothes, to not upgrade your phone, to buy secondhand, to live in a tiny home. It's okay to have a simple life. And I think that's, for many years I had dreams of grandeur and really wanting, this business that I was doing, or to be that of grandeur, to go to a level that I really was hoping for, and it didn't get to that of my expectations of what I thought it should be or where I thought it should go. And when I posted that I found it on Facebook, of course, and in posting that and saying that, you know what, deep down inside, I just want something that's very simple, and something that isn't of that, maybe the grandeur that I thought I wanted, that belief, the beliefs and the values, the belief that it should be a certain way, it should go a certain way. And in fact, it's coming down to really go with the soul. And that's square to Neptune with, a Mars squaring Neptune, and it's coming off that square. It's going to come back and square it again because of the retrograde. Was very much in stating that you really got to come into your truth, your reality, your direction of where you would like to really be. And when I sit down and I look at it and I think we're all going through this, and it's um many of us are in our different stages of life. And sometimes we look at our stages of life and we're thinking that we should be somewhere other than where we're at. And I find, you know what, it doesn't matter what stage in life you're at, you're always thinking you should be somewhere other than where you're at. For the most parts. Uh And I think this is where we have to really take this time to reflect and look at, okay, where I'm at right now is pretty damn good. Where I'm at right now, yeah, you know what? It's slow and steady, and it may not be exactly what others might be expecting, but it is where I want to be at. And in looking at the world around us, I was just reading, Germany has lost its mind and they are not ready for what's coming. You know, that's the whole thing is that you're looking around and you're seeing the world losing its mind. You're seeing the world being run by a bunch of clowns. I watched today how the leader of China, scolded our PM because things got leaked out, and he was not pleased. And it's funny because Trudeau's not used to being scolded or being told things, and I thought it was quite hilarious to see this scolding, basically of saying, next time there's going to be terms when we speak. um, I don't expect things to be leaked out, especially when it's misquoted kind of thing. So, um, that was very interesting to see that happening. So, it's things are turning or changing and shifting in ways, not only I think within our personal lives or within the lives around us, but in the world around us. And those shifts are very much, many are in the positive, but we don't always see that. And sometimes the information that we are receiving, um, we still have to watch it with discernment. We really have to watch it with a understanding that the full truths aren't coming out, um, you know, truthfully, like things aren't coming out truthfully. Watching the thing with Fauci, and the reporters weren't even allowed to ask questions. And I'm that's the other thing, is that things are slowly coming forward where there are reporters that are asking questions and they're getting shut down. And where even within the news, things are starting to be questioned more than, and that critical thinking is, happening. It's at a slow crackle, but it's slowly happening. And this is where I think even within people's own lives, it's like, okay, you know what? I'm really looking at the truth of what is it that we bring value to our life, and what that looks like, and what that feels like. And I know for myself, the direction that it turned. Who would have thought I would be, as I've said, who would have thought I'd be back at Starbucks, you know, um, after not working at the place since 2013. And then before that, um, working in it in the 90s, and in, part of the early 2000. So this is where I feel sometimes you're directed or you're put into a place to get you to really refocus your own truth and refocus on where you need to go. And the last time when Jupiter was going, in Pisces and then going into Aries, was a huge spiritual time for me, because it was a time of really reevaluation on the direction of where I was going at that time. And so it's, sort of happening again, but it's the wheels, things, the brakes are slowing down. Things are really, I'm really looking at, okay, because of the energies that are out there, you know, um, where the spiritual thing is there, but the energies of the world are taking a huge transformation and change, and the direction of where we need to go. So I'm going to open it up if there's any questions that people have, and what those questions, any questions, and see if I can um, answer your questions. So if you do have any questions and you're on the Guru Mama page or YouTube, you can write your questions up. If you're on the Mary June Tracy page, I will not see your questions. That's my personal page. If you're on my business Facebook page or YouTube, I will see your questions come up in the chat. So the chat is open for you to ask those questions. Um, one question I did have, and someone asked me and they said, well, when you were talking about some of your predictions, did you mentioned pandemic, and I said yes. And I said, but I didn't say pandemic. I said pandemics with an S. And they're like, oh, and they're like, you mean just not one? I said, well, the one that came wasn't really a pandemic. That was a psyops, I guess we can call it, to see how people would behave. And I said that was just to see how people would behave. And I said the environmental one is slowly being unveiled to people, and people aren't even realizing it. It's things like your local grocery store doesn't have flyers anymore. And you're thinking, what? They really don't have flyers anymore. So if you even at doesn't matter if you shop at Costco, Canadian Superstore, Canadian Tire, I know Save on Foods, Safeway, they don't have flyers. They get you to download their app. So that's the thing, is like now you're going to start to begin to see where we are everything's driven by the phone and the apps that you have on your phone. And those apps that you have on your phone um, are going to give the information about what you buy, where you buy, how often you buy. Even write down, if you've noticed, if you have a GPS in your car, your GPS is going to, if you go into your car and let's say you drive to work every day, your GPS will know when you get in your car, the time you get in your car approximately, and where you're going to drive and how long it's going to take you to get to where you're going. That's our society. It's very where you don't notice these things because they're just there. They're just happening. How many people have a series or um one of those Google things that you speak into and say, "Hey, Google, what about this?" And then it'll answer you, right? Um, or you even have Siri's on your phone, right? Where if you press and it'll pop up or something. Um, and then you can ask Siri's a question. I'm not sure what I understand. So here you can, like, people have asked this weird
Here's what I
question.
found.
Block party. Oh. When will World War III begin?
I found this on the web.
So it has different dates and random dates on there. But people have asked series and all that, different questions and stuff like that. So controller things like apps, subscriptions. That's the other thing, is in order for you to get things or to see more information. So what do you subscribe to? And that's the other thing, is that people, like today I got Audibles. My Audible payment went through and I looked at it and I went, holy shit, I don't use Audibles enough to be paying for that every month. So this is the other thing, is like start going through your subscriptions. What subscriptions are you paying for? Some of them you don't even realize, but $15 here, $10 there, add up. So what are those subscriptions that you are paying for that you may not be paying attention to? And that's the whole thing. A lot of things is that's happening right now. You canceled a ton today. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like you don't, you start looking at it and you're like, oh my God, I thought I had 20 bucks. And you go into your account and it's like, oh shit, it's this subscription. It's this, right? And so canceling them, I mean, that's going to save you a lot of money. If there are certain things like I know I still have my BritBox and Acorn TV because it's like, oh, do I really want to keep that because of one or two shows? And how often do I watch it? Right? That's the thing. That's part of the energy because there's that casting. I'm going to say like a casting of a spell, a casting that is put upon us and that you don't know it because it's so nonchalant. It's so, yeah, it's there. Don't worry about it, right? Don't question, some people might get upset. Like they might get upset that they no longer have a flyer. So you have to go online to the different flyers to search things out. I know my dad used to love the flyers and he used to lay them out and look at where who has ice cream on sale this week or what's on sale. So that's the other, part too. So you're going to be noticing you're not going to be noticing this. It's just going to like it's like a flowing over. And that's how things creep in because you don't notice them, right? Right? TV ones are the worst. You pay for the app and they have a pay extra for a TV show or a movie. Yes, like Prime. Prime is horrible because there's the movie Santa Claus. Anyways, because my husband likes Christmas shows. So I clicked on it and they wanted me to pay for it. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going to pay for that. I mean, I've seen it how many times, but I'm not going to pay $4.99 for it, right? Or, things like that, little things like that, or you want to see a series of something and you end up looking at, oh, it's $10.99 for the series, but you're not thinking that's a lot, right? But then maybe there's series 2 or series 3 that you want to see kind of thing. It's like the Harry Potters. I mean, I think you can get Harry Potter free right now on Netflix, but there are where you have to pay for it, right? And how many people still have their VCR? My VCR is up in the storage closet here, for my uh for playing DVDs and stuff like that. And that's the other thing is like, do you have DVDs? Maybe that's maybe that old world way, old world way. It's not even that fucking long ago of of having DVDs and stuff like that because just watching what's happening within Germany. Germany's turned off their nuclear plants, right? Was that the new Santa Claus movie that just came out? The way the No, 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 the old one with Tim Allen. It's like way really old. I still the DVD girl cuz I don't have any other stuff. And that's great, with having the DVDs and stuff like that. So there's these types of things like that's where the energy is, right? The energy is sort of creeping in and change is happening, but we're really not noticing it. And that's where things like, when we were, when 2020 hit, and I said pandemics, but I mentioned pandemics back in 2017 and also in throughout 2019 and 2018 that there is going to be severe shortages and things like that. And then people thought it was done, right? Oh, no. And people thought it was done and oh, it was just the toilet paper that's the shortage. But when I'm doing my things or when I'm looking at things or feeling the energy through things, it's like I see it through a scope of several years, I guess we'll say. So going through and seeing it happening through several years. So that's why, when I say the food shortages, and people are like, oh, well, there isn't really any food shortages, right? How many people are having problem finding lettuce or kitty litter or um, different things like that, right? And lettuce is the easiest thing to grow, but the reason why there's a shortage on lettuce right now has to do with the carbon tax, and I put that in quotation, is because greenhouses who are growing our vegetables are being taxed for the carbon that's being released, but the carbon doesn't destroy the atmosphere, it doesn't go out into the atmosphere, right? So they're really taxing a lot of greenhouses heavily. So, things like a lettuce that costs pennies to grow, by the time you get it, by the time it gets to you, right? It's 5.99 or 4.99, however much the lettuce is. Pine pellets can be used for kitty litter, 6.99 at Canadian Tire. Yeah. So I don't buy kitty litter because my cat goes outside. So she does have a kitty litter box, but I think she's used it 3 times since we moved here. So so things like that are you're going to start seeing, right? And also with how the diesel prices will start to go up. Now I know a lot of people there's a whole reason why the price right now has gone down with gas. Just enjoy it. That's all I got to say. Just enjoy it the way things are going. But they're calling for rollouts in Germany. They're calling for rollouts of your lights going out and stuff in England and in the rest of Europe. But they do have nuclear power plants which they've turned off. And I mean, that's crazy. A lot of times people think of nuclear power plants like The Simpsons. And that's not how nuclear plants run anymore. They're very clean energy. But the thing is with wind power or solar power, this is what they're trying to educate people on and get you all hyped up. I mean, by the time the wind gets the power and gets into the electrical plant, and it takes a lot of energy for it to actually exchange that energy, that wind energy, into electrical energy. And it actually is worse on the environment in doing so. So it's interesting. I mean, they're just talking about a bill giving California a couple $1 billion because they're going to be turning off one of their largest nuclear plant by 2025, and that electricity goes to millions of people. And they're even talking, telling them that they have to turn their air conditioner down, or if they have their heat, not to charge their cars overnight, their electrical cars. So these little things, like, a lot of people are um it's that illusion that's being promoted to everybody. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, for the environment, for this, for that. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, um, the greenhouse effect. It's, um, the global environmental change and all of this." So these things, this is why it's so important for people to really take the time to slow down, to educate themselves, and slow down to really look at what are these changes that are coming in right now. And because of and it's the thing is that because a lot of people did get the vaccine, um of the different viruses that are going to be coming out, and the changes of the viruses that are going to be coming out, that are going to be really affecting people, that is going to cause a true pandemic, you know, and the pandemics that are going to be coming in over between now and 2030. So we're going to be starting to see more um sicknesses happen for people, and you're going to find more people getting ill um, from different viruses that are coming out and that people are going to be exposed to. And it's going to hit it. I mean, it's going to be like, I don't care if you're vaxxed or unvaxxed, it's going to hit us all, right? And it might hit the unvaxxed, unfortunately, a little worse because of their immune system that is getting broken down even more. So these are the things that here we come back to slowing down. Here we come back to really taking that time to do that thinking and do that discernment that needs to be done in the world and in our lives. And that slowing down means that there could be changes in directions of where you are, where you're working, what you are doing, how you work, how you do your work, how you earn your income. And sometimes it's like, well, that's not where I want it to be, or that's not how I wanted it to be. But it is a redirection of getting you to look at, and I feel like, the angels and God is coming in very strongly into Gaia right now. I mean, that energy, that God energy, that masculine energy is coming in very strong to really direct us into a new state of affairs. But it really has to work with a lot of the light workers that are here. And some light workers have sort of hidden away because they don't want to come out, or it's just too much. But this is where the light work isn't it isn't that of being paid. The light workers are that maybe you are sent back into certain positions or places because there are people there that you have to connect with, or even for you to get a re-education or a connection of why people did what they did, and really connecting and coming into a place where there is no judgment with it. And that brings in the community, that brings in the understanding of the reasons why, um in talking to a few people, even with me, in talking to a few people from work on why they did what they did was, because they had a job or because they had this. And this is where an understanding has to come in, where we really, I feel like this understanding and forgiveness has to come forward in order for us to band together. But I don't see, like, the revolt is happening, but I don't see the fullness until 2025, 2026 of a huge, like, crazy revolts and people realizing that it's like in 20, like, I see people trying to fend for themselves, trying to get things, food and water and things like that. So I see more of an issue then, this is just sort of the prelude of things to come. So this energy is sort of like this prelude of things to come. And that's why it's so important to really get to that grounding, get to that simplicity so that you can really get to that direction. It's like, when I told people about prepping and starting to prep, and how many people out there are like, yeah, I mean, I haven't canned in years, and look at me, I'm canning now. And they have their storage places in their cold storage all stocked up because they knew this is what they had to start to do, right? So this is like, you've gotten that basis, but you can't stop. So this is bringing in, more of a simplicity, more of a way of like, okay, I'm going to have to really focus on the joys and the simplicity, and the word simplicity keeps coming in, because that's the word that the angels keep telling me coming in, and that's why that quote was so important for me to post, bringing in that of what the truth is for our own lives. I know we dream, or I dream of living in a chateau, and or on an estate, but um even then, when I watch many of those who do that, they have to come into a simplicity, because their life isn't grandeur. I mean, it looks grandeur to be in these beautiful homes, but you really have to be on the ball every single day in order to maintain and keep them going, keep them up, and a lot of them are working, having to come back to that simplicity of working with the land, of working with the energies of the land, in order for them, because they know they have to utilize this land. This is going way, and I feel like now I'm being shown like this is going way back, at back into the 14th century, the 13th century, the 12th century, where they were being shown that we have to utilize all the land, we have to utilize the people around us, and in order to create and maintain the community, maintain that sense of harmony and that peace. And that part has really been missing for so long, where we have um gone into our own enclosures, and not really branched out into maintaining the earth, and maintaining that substance of growth and growing and sharing, and having and utilizing the bounty that is around us, which is so important. And not everybody has the skill to work the earth. I mean, people have skills in many different areas, and we need all of those different skills as we move forward in this world. And um, I think there's a lot that is going to unfold for us even more. So I'm just waiting. Nobody has any questions. Everybody's so quiet tonight. Just let me double check. Right. Just let me double check. Right. Just let me double check. No. Okay. So no questions. That's fine. You don't, that's odd that nobody has any questions. Maybe everybody's very content right now. So that's a good thing. Being content with the world around you. So that's a good thing. So today's the last day of my early bird special. After today, mini readings for mini moon readings will be going up to $30. The astrology field seems to be half and half. I find a lot of astrologers are scared to death, and they don't come out and speak truth. They ask everything from personal finances to world affairs. They ask all kinds of questions. The ones that think it's great, a lot that think it's, I mean, I know some of them that think everything is hunky dory and we're all great. Um, here's the fine line: is yeah, there is some wonderful great light that's coming into Gaia, and I've heard many different channelers coming in talking about this light, talking about this new world and new earth. But there's so much for us to learn there. With Pluto at the end of Capricorn, I mean, Capricorn is government, institutions, and corporations and structures, and it's going up that mountain, it's traveling up that mountain, right? And it's like, yes, I mean, if we're that's why I keep saying, coming back to the community, coming back to that structure, coming back to that simplicity is important in what we do, because that helps to change, that vibration goes out. That helps to change other things, as it unfolds. There seems to be more of the quiet ones that I think are scared for all the people with the rose-colored glasses on. Yeah, it's the thing, the truth of the matter, what I do see riots. I do see, this is where there's a reason why Archangel Michael has a sword. There's a reason why Archangel Michael is the one who blesses the soldiers going into war. There is an army. God has an army. And the thing is that when you have an army of angels, they're not like, oh, pat you on the head and give you a hug and kiss your boo-boo. No, they're out there and they're going to kick your ass to get your fucking life together, to get things going and moving. And this is where, a lot of people don't want to focus on the political scene, or they don't want to focus on the money, or they don't want to focus on anything like that. But the basis of Earth, we are in a 3D world. And within that 3D world, we have structures that have been built. Now, the structures are definitely crumbling, because structures all have to be changed. And these change within these structures, there has to be something new. I mean, you can dismantle something, fine. Okay, let's tear down the parliamentary government. What are you going to replace it with? Who are you going to replace it with? How is that going to be replaced? Human beings do need structure. I mean, that's why when you look at the zodiac, there's that diversity within the structure. And you look at each of the signs, and we all have them in our natal chart, but each of those signs have a structure and have a way of helping us in order to walk our earth walk and help the world, and the world that we live in. There will be community, but there will be the bad people that don't do community. Of course there is, because it's that seed within the evil. The evil's there. I mean, this is why we live in a world of duality. There's good and bad. There's white and black. There's dark and night, right? So you have that duality. It's just like if I can find it now. How people are lashing out about the woke society. People being, like Elon Musk calling out Klaus Schwab as a scammer, when people like Neil Oliver, the government should be afraid because they are behaving unforgivable. I mean, coming out and, there's people like that. They're calling these out. Those are light workers. I mean, you might not like Elon Musk. You might not like Neil Oliver. You might not like some of these people, but they're calling out a lot of the evil and in the world. The school system in Canada, depending on which province, Ontario really wants, I mean, they're really wanting to be like the United States. They want to be the woke and things like that. They want to, think it's okay for certain things to happen. When you come out to the West, BC could really lean that way too, because there's some loopy people there. But when you come out to the middle of Canada, when you're coming out to place, like Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, there's a whole different way of thinking. And that's where, when it comes to the school system, really starts to change. There's going to be huge changes within the school system. Um, and I think it feels like there's going to be different types of schools that are going to be opening up, because when it comes to the schools, there's a lot more understanding, which is great in understanding how children learn, and how children act and behave within schools. I mean, there's a goodness and a badness within that, but I think there's um, having that understanding to give children, especially young ones, a better opportunity on learning without being afraid of how they are or how they feel. So, when it comes to the school system, it definitely there's going to be definite changes. I think universities in that they're gonna have their purpose, but a lot are not going towards the university unless you're going into a specific kind of field kind of thing. So that's the thing about the school system, because a lot of people are finding that they don't need to have this great education for doing certain things. Um, there is still a hold on it, like, there's still a hold on if you're going to become a computer programmer, they want you to have this certain degree, but now they're finding that there could be this 16-year-old who can do computer programming or program a computer faster than somebody who went to school to learn it. And I know a lot of guys who can build computers because that's what they just like to do. They love to tinker and stuff like that. Um, so there's things like that. Um, the some things are going to stay basically the same. It'll feel like basic, but it's just that slow inching of change. It's like, if anybody's ever been at the beach when the tide comes in. You don't notice how fast the tide comes in until it hits you, and you're like, "Holy shit, let's get the hell out of here," because before we're gonna be like 8 feet underwater. And that's how I see things coming, especially, with the education, with the political realm, um, unfolding. So, and the other thing about astrologers is a lot of astrologers are being called out, um, being demonized, uh, and the things that just happened on the Daily Wire, with Ben Shapiro, who owns the Daily Wire or is one of the owners or however it works. Um, one of the people on there who's a Catholic she's not even an astrologer on there talking about astrology. So that's interesting. Um, and the other thing is with COVID, I mean, they're still trying to push the shot. I mean, they're really trying to push the shot to a point where they're wanting to demonize people. And that's all part of this energy that's coming in. And as you say, a lot of them don't want to look at it, is you know um calling people mentally ill because they didn't get the shot. They must be they must have some mental problem or phobia or something, to not do it. So that's an interesting factor too. So there is this fight that's coming in, and I can feel it and I can see it, and sometimes I don't want to. Like, I want to be the beautiful rose-colored glasses person, but, I have a Neptune conjunct my Mercury in Scorpio that's conjunct my Sun. And it's when you have a conjunction like that, I mean, that means there's things that I can see that other people can't see, and worlds that come forth that I see, and being able to do it since I was little. A lot of people who have that Neptune conjunct um Mercury, they will have that part within them. They will see, you can see the other worlds, and sometimes people don't like that. They don't like it when you can see things, right? You know? You wish you could wear them too. Yeah, there's some really great astrologers out there, and some of them, and I listen to them, and they really talk about, great light. And yes, it's faster to manifest, and it's faster to do things, and I truly believe it. Like, the energies to create things, I think, is open, and it is faster. To do these things. Yet, like Basha Goldsmith, I mean, she's a fabulous astrologer. Um, and she's really very upbeat, walk your talk, practical, playful, adorable. I mean, she really tries to stick onto the positive things when it comes to the astrology, right? Um, and then there's others that are out there that, like, I love the Pele report. Like, he's honest. Like, I love the Pele report. Like, he's great. The Leo King, I mean, I know he can be kind of harsh and egotistical for a lot of people, but I mean, he is another double Gemini. I stopped being a part of Astrology Hub because it got to a point that it was very difficult to listen to a lot, because they didn't want to, not that I want controversy, but I want to have a discussion on things, and they would not discuss anything political. They would not discuss the shot. They would not discuss COVID or anything like that. They wouldn't discuss anything like that. And even though it was right in the astrology, and they refused to do, when it came to that, right? Oh, I've been on High Vibe since he started his first app. Like, I've been following the Leo King since 2012. So, you know, um I've been following things with K Pacha since 2010. Like, K Pacha was, like, I really got into things with K Pacha and studying things with him. Then with the Leo King and stuff. Also, and Basha Goldsmith, I mean, she's great. I love her. She's got such a sweet spirit. Um, you know, Astrology for the Soul just came out. So, which is it's the new paradigm astrology, and that's, he's really good, and he's honest. Like, he's like, this is, I mean, he's tries to keep things very spiritual and upbeat as well, but he really is, he'll let you know, things when the nodes are in two money type of signs, like Taurus and Scorpio. There's going to yeah, she's in Greece. Um, there's going to be some shit that's going to hit the fan, right? Um, and the markets are going to be all crazy and all over the place. So it's important, when you look at what are the things that people should be investing in, and it's just like, okay, what is tangible, what's always been there, that humanity's always used. So, gold, silver, copper, things like that, and you just have to be smart about it. So, but so there's just so much that's unfolding, I think, for everybody, and unfolding so quickly that you have to be, again, you have to be within that discernment of the direction that you want to take. You know, I mentioned people, I told people that, there about a bombing happening in Poland. Well, a bombing happened in Poland. Um, a new party wanting to be formed in the United States. While they're talking, one of the Republicans came out and was talking about a new direction or a new party to be reformed. The Republican Party has done that several times throughout history within the United States. Um, this is where, Canada taking a new direction in where it wants to go, and it's on a very fine line on, a lot of people don't realize it's on a very fine line of um being like Australia, like, under the thumb and being controlled, and you think you got freedom, but you don't have the freedom that you thought you had. So things, are changing immensely, and it takes where you go to the store and you can't get what you need for your children. That's when that's 20 that I think that's in 2026. That's when things really start to really take those twists and turns through with things. And so that's why there's such a focus on focusing on community and the goodness of stuff in life right now. And the more you focus on that is important. Is important. So I think that's all I have for tonight. So not that I wanted to come on with doom and gloom, but it's understanding, I guess, the direction of where we're heading into. And this full moon is going to be a wowzer. Just saying. It is a full moon conjunct Mars retrograde with the North Node going over the points of, Venus from 2004 and 2017. So huge, and Venus moving towards Capricorn, where she retrograded at the end of the year last year, this, in 2021. So, she's going to be going over those points again, but this time Mars is not going to be there with her, but Mercury's going ahead, and then he's going to retrograde in Capricorn for on December 28th. So we got some crazy shit that's coming in that's really and going over some of the points that Venus was retrograde at, and then hitting Pluto. Like, yeah, I'm just getting tired of talking about Pluto and Capricorn, but then, Pluto and Aquarius is going to be just totally radical, because that's 20 years. That's 20 years. And I'll be 79 when it leaves. Where I will be in 20 years, who knows? Who knows? So maybe I'll be on a beach somewhere, just like hiding away in a hut. Who knows? But definitely, if you are wanting to get those mini readings for 2023, let me know. Today's the last day of the sale. It's $450. It was regular $25 a reading for those mini readings. Starting after the sale, they're going up to $30, and they'll be $30 for mini readings. My in the new year, my readings will be going up as well. So and I'm booked all through December right now. And if anybody is wanting to book into readings now, I'd book at the price they are now. And I'm booking, gosh, because January, February, I won't be able to. Booking all the way in, taking bookings now for March and April of next year. So that's where it's heading. It's just, yeah. So I'm just going with the flow. Anyways, thanks guys for joining, and for asking questions. I know people have asked so many different questions, of, how's my love life? How am I going to be financial and things like that? I think, you know, for many of us who are here, I think there is a little bit of a struggle, but I think people are going to get through this. And it's just tightening a lot of shoestrings that need to be tightened that haven't been tightened before. And I think that's for a lot of people right now. And just I'm just going by the vibe that's within the group right now because I only see 8 people on here. But I think there's a lot of shoe tying for people. And the other thing I thought was funny, haha, Black Friday in the United States, nobody was out shopping. So that's telling you something, right? So Black Friday was not a huge success in the States. So, yeah, people are, noticing like, okay, what's my priority, right? What am I going to prioritize in my life? And you know what? That could be, it doesn't mean that Christmas is going to be more special for people because, when we talk about the true meaning of what Christmas is, I think that's what's going to bring people is that, the true meaning, the food, the drink, the gathering of people together. And that's going to become a very important piece. Whether you believe in Christmas or not, I really don't give a shit. I do. I love Christmas. There's my Santa Claus. And more, having a Christmas tree to me is significant. I love a Christmas tree. I love the energy of having Christmas, you know. So I think that's going to be becoming more symbolic for people and the energies around what Christmas is and the meaning of the whole thing. So those types of things I think are going to be becoming more sentimental and more meaningful for people in the coming years. So family gatherings and things like that are going to be very important for people as the years go by. There you go. So I will be doing more predictions and stuff like that. I've been working on some of them. But that's not going to be until probably into 2023 in January of 2023. And I'll come out with more info then. But I still will be popping in and out here. God bless you. Have a wonderful Saturday evening. And I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow. Okay. Since I have the weekend off, what else do I have to do, right? Bye bye.